who's had to make do with essentially nothing, because he's working with corrupt officers.
And you do see a big change in his character. I mean, in this one, he seems very chaotic and a bit clumsy, like when he's in the Bat Tumbler. And
Yeah.
as you said, like when they go into the building and Batman's in there and all the cops are swarming the building. But you see him in Dark Knight, and he is so focused and just has this great leadership quality.
Yeah.
And that obviously builds up, as you said, into his rank of commissioner. And I'm interested to see what happens with his character in the third film. I mean, just Commissioner Gordon is just great in this film. He's one of my favourite characters in the entire film.
He is, yeah, he is. And I love that. I love that scene where he gets in where he's trying to open the Batmobile or the tumbler. And he's pushing it. It's funny. He bridges between a semi-comic relief, because I mean he does do, like, that scene is played out for his scene in the tumbler is played out for comic relief.
There are some one-liners in this film, like when he first sees the tumbler, he goes like, "I gotta get me one of those," or there are lines like that. And there's one scene in particular with a one-liner that it has a callback, but I don't really like it. It's in the scene where you first get the classic "I'm Batman" line, and then he looks over at this guy who, when he was trying to become incognito, he gave this tramp a coat, and he sees him again and he just goes, "Nice coat," and flies off. And it kind of kills the grand dramatic moment of that reveal, "I'm Batman."
I mean, I don't mind the one-liners because there's character here, and
it doesn't detract from the film or anything. It's just, if I had to pick a problem with the film, that is just one slight one I have with it.
So we got music. Hans Zimmer is the new composer. He does a very, very different style of Batman theme than Danny Elfman's, and I much prefer this new sort of style than I did. I mean, the music, apart from the main Batman theme in Tim Burton's, nothing really stood out. In terms of musical score in those other films, here every cue and every cue of music is literally stands out. You really notice the musical score, and Hans Zimmer is a fantastic composer. And he just brings his he lets himself go crazy with the music, and and James Newton Howard as well composed it, and it works. It's a fantastic musical score, probably one of my favourites.
It's very different to all the ones that have come before. I mean, it's a lot more intense and fits in with this theme more. Like, as a film, the more realistic take, because I mean, you couldn't apply Danny Elfman's theme to this film; it just wouldn't work, and vice versa. But Hans Zimmer seems to take on the more actiony themes in the film, and Newton Howard focuses more on the emotional side, like with piano and vocal cues.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that this film, it doesn't seem to pick a main theme for Batman. Like, if I was trying to think what is the main theme of Batman, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because there's one that comes up in The Dark Knight. Is that the main theme? Is it the one in this? You know, I wouldn't be able to pick one definitive Batman theme.
See, I don't find that a particular problem, because I think that you... It's a very different, and it's going into the sort of... It resembles the psyche of Batman. There isn't one Bruce Wayne. That there isn't one thing he sticks to. It's very different, and it's very paralleled. And I mean, there's and the music sort of keys that. I wouldn't say that there necessarily has to be a main theme. I think that that was Danny Elfman's thing, and this is Hans Zimmer's scene now.
I think I still prefer, as a score, I think I still do prefer Danny Elfman's theme, but it's hard to compare the two, because they are so vastly different takes on the Batman character, and both fit their, film counterparts accordingly. It's just, if I think of Batman, like the Batman theme, I'll go to the Danny Elfman theme, right, or the Phantasm theme. But that's not to say that this score's bad. It's amazing, but I would have liked a main theme, I think. But it's as you said, it shows that there is not one definitive like Batman figure. There's constant, personality changes. Yeah,
and I do think the score resembles that perfectly. So I think my thoughts on this, I really, really, really liked it. But did I like it as much as The Dark Knight? That's the question. What will be your closing thoughts, Chris?
Closing thoughts. I'm going to say it straight away that I prefer this to Dark Knight. I much preferred. I felt that although there were themes for Batman in The Dark Knight, I felt that he wasn't the greater focus. It was more Harvey Dent. So I like this film for being a character study and the origin story of Batman. The villains were perfect in this film, and you had that parallel that you do get in Dark Knight as well. And just the aesthetic look, it felt more like Gotham City than Dark Knight did.
Right.
It felt more like the dirty, desperate city that Gotham is meant to be. It didn't just feel like Chicago, which the second film did. Really liked Christopher Nolan's take on this. This is where it all started.
Yeah.
And obviously I haven't seen Dark Knight Rises yet. That'll be this Friday, but will that top this one? Because so far this is my favourite.
Yeah, okay. Right, well, our next review is going to be The Dark Knight. So join us next time for that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.